I'm not happy.
I don't need Elizabeth Warren or the government giving away my money.
Calling Mike Bloomberg an oligarch has implications in this country that I think are unfair and unreasonable.
I care. That's it.
Makes you think of some rich person who got their money off of oil in Russia, who's taking advantage of a broken and dysfunctional system.
Bernie Sanders saying, the country's corrupt, our system's corrupt. Be careful about that language, Bernie. You know, be careful.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Wind, wind.
Nation, Waldorf Nation. Oh man, it's Tuesday. We got a big show. A lot of stuff happening today. A lot of fun stuff. Lots of interesting things. We have Hunter Biden, the right wing imploding over that. We have Trump, his answer on why he kept classified documents. It's fun. I'm going to talk about RFK Jr. on Joe Rogan and how much of a disaster that was. Hoo boy, the cranks are out. Yes. So I'm going to be talking about that. Aussies versus Don Jr. Yes, the entire country of Australia, by the way. All against Don Trump. No, I'm kidding. But it is fun. We have, of course, a bias ban in Ohio. What is that? It's another Republican education bill that basically is, going to be okay with Holocaust denial. Great. Lovely. We have, and finally, we've got good news. Andrew Tate might be going down. Fun. Okay. So, yeah. A lot of interesting stories today. So why don't we dive into that? We're going to start out with Donald Trump. Because, of course. Nobody's ever worked this hard. Nobody ever worked ever as hard as Donald Trump. So hard that, well, we'll get into it. Former President Donald Trump has admitted to not returning classified documents to the National Archives because he was too busy.
Just hand them over then.
Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to NARA yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You see, I was so very, very busy. You know, there's a lot of things that were going on here. Couldn't get around to it. I wanted to get around to it, but it slipped my mind. Yes, that's it. It slipped my mind, even though NARA had been asking for it for about a year and a half. Again, a year and a half, 18 months. That's how long the government had been trying to get him to return the documents. Yeah. I mean, you could not find that time to do this, to go through your own boxes. Again, get your stuff out. Fine. Okay. It's not like the government wasn't giving you time. They're just like, hey, can you please return them? It'd be really nice if you did. It'd be fantastic, actually, if you return the stuff. But hey, if you need time to go through it and separate your stuff, that's totally, totally fine. Just please return the documents. And he's like, no, I'm not going to return the documents. They're all mine. I declassified them, even though I actually didn't. And he's on tape admitting that. Again, he was not president at the time. Again, he left the White House, didn't declassify it when he had the power, so he couldn't declassify it after it because he didn't have the power to declassify documents anymore after he was no longer president. And so, I mean, all he had to do was return the documents. That's it. And it's not like he didn't have time. He no longer had to do any work. It's not as if he actually worked when he was president. Do you guys remember executive time? Executive time. It was like a 9-hour block of his day where he did nothing. You don't understand. I'm very, very hardworking, and I need executive time, okay? I need executive time away from the stresses of the job to tweet, okay? You don't understand how difficult this job actually is. He didn't read anything. And if it did, it was tweet length statements with his name peppered in, as per many people that were inside of the administration itself, okay, and who had seen this. And he would watch TV constantly. That's when he was supposed to be working. And then, no longer in that job, no longer doing that job as president of the United States, he couldn't find time to go through his own stuff. No. Oh, and by the way, he had plenty of time, to get on.
Truth, essential.
Oh, yes, of course. So why couldn't he go through the boxes? Why? Well, look, I already alluded to one of the reasons. He's lazy, okay? But secondly, and I think most importantly, and this is why there is a federal case against him, is the fact that he lumped classified material into his personal belongings, or vice versa, whatever you want to put it. And it's because he considered that classified material, that government material, to be his own personal belongings. Why else would you throw nuclear secrets into the same boxes you throw your pants? Oh, they're both mine. What's it going to matter? I just throw them all in there. But again, he knew that they were not actually his. And in fact, he had told his lawyers that he had fully complied with the subpoena to return all the stuff that belonged to the government that was classified, even knowing that it was not declassified, that it was still classified. And so those lawyers had lied on his behalf. What a Freudian slip here. But look, once again, I have to keep pointing this out. Trump did this to himself. This entire thing did this to himself. And again, in that interview, just admitted like, I kept them because I was too busy. Idiot. He had a chance to return the documents the whole time. Just like, again, Mike Pence, okay?
Mike Pounds.
And Joe Biden, who also had classified documents at their residence. But guess what? Once they found that, what did they do? They returned them immediately. Donald Trump didn't. This entire case, again, self-inflicted. Because, of course, and at the end of the day, really just happens to be not a political witch hunt, not a weaponization of the Justice Department, but really a case of F around and find out. Trump effed around, now he's finding out. Oops. Yeah.
Can't let that happen.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to someone else that happened to get in trouble. Hunter Biden. The right wing is currently melting down over Hunter Biden reaching a plea deal in the much hyped investigation against him. Now, according to court records filed on Tuesday, Hunter Biden reached an agreement on tax evasion and gun charges with a Delaware U.S. attorney appointed by former President Donald Trump. So this is a guy that was supposed to get Hunter Biden. And what did he do? Hunter Biden just pled guilty. Now, the second son of President Joe Biden agreed to plead guilty on 2 counts of willful failure to pay his federal income taxes and will enter a pretrial diversion agreement on a gun charge, which is not expected to be prosecuted. And the reason, of course, is that it's usually for diversion just means someone who is under the influence of drugs, where they tend not to prosecute as a result of that. So there you go. Now, Hunter Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, sent a statement that it is my understanding that the 5-year investigation into Hunter Biden is resolved. Although, the Trump-appointed attorney says, no, we're still looking into some other stuff. Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure you'll find probably nothing. Okay. So now, Clark said, I know Hunter believes it is important to take responsibility for these mistakes he made during a period of turmoil and addiction in his life. He looks forward to continuing his recovery and moving forward. So, as I mentioned, the tax charges, they're technically misdemeanors. And by the way, Roger Stone also faced a similar case of which he did not actually get any probation. It was not a criminal charge against him, and he actually ended up having to pay off what he had owed. So Hunter Biden's actually being treated more harshly than someone who failed to pay a much larger amount of their taxes. So I think that's pretty interesting, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Now, the felony gun charges I mentioned will not be prosecuted because it counts as diversion. If convicted, Hunter Biden would face a maximum penalty of 12 months in prison on each of the tax charges, and a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison on the firearm, although, again, very, 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 very unlikely that he's going to see any sort of jail time. It will just be, again, probation. The response to this, though, this is where it gets unhinged. Let's start out with Donald Trump. Taking to
Truth, essential.
The corrupt Biden DOJ just cleared up hundreds of years of criminal liability by giving Hunter Biden a mere traffic ticket. Our system is broken. Hundreds of years? What is he talking about? Okay. There's more. Senator Josh Hawley says, quote, so Hunter Biden gets a special plea deal. Slap on the wrist. Probably won't do a day of time. While DOJ charges Trump as a spy and tries to put him in prison forever. 2 standards of justice. Oh, well, last I knew, Hunter Biden did not steal classified material and then obstruct efforts to get those materials back. So it's kind of apples and oranges here. The oranges of the investigation, perhaps. There's more. Oh, okay. Here's an image of some tweets. Let's start out with Representative James Comer, who can't seem to find his Biden whistleblower. Hunter Biden is getting away with the slap in the wrist from growing evidence uncovered by the House Oversight Committee reveals the Bidens engaged in a pattern of corruption, influence peddling, and possibly bribery. None of which can be corroborated because all of their witnesses, so-called witnesses, whistleblowers, whatever you want to call them, are missing. Senator Marsha Blackburn. It's no coincidence that less than a week after President Trump is arraigned by the DOJ, Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to a sweetheart deal with no jail time. The same sweetheart deal that was given to Roger Stone. Representative Kevin Hern, Biden's DOJ is treating Hunter with kids' gloves, giving him a deal that only the president's son could receive, or Roger Stone. Did I mention Roger Stone? Lance Gooden, DOJ brought 3 weak charges against Hunter to try to trick the American public into thinking they are politically biased. But Hunter will see 0 days in jail, even though he's committed many crimes. The greatest crimes, so many crimes. Trump faces 450 years over a paperwork dispute. One that he himself had caused. Oh, there's more. Representative Darrell Issa says this case isn't closed. Anyone could see Biden's DOJ went easy on Hunter Biden. Representative Andy Biggs said justice has not been entirely served yet. This is a deflection from more serious charges to come. Representative Marjorie Greene gets even more unhinged with her, unsurprisingly. Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to a gun charge and a misdemeanor tax charges with no jail time is a stunt to make him look like he is just cooperating with the DOJ. Wait, but if you're pleading guilty, then you are actually cooperating with the DOJ. I don't know if you know that. What else does cooperation look like? Oh, furthermore. Meanwhile, the pathetic and weaponized DOJ, who protects their puppet president and refuses to prosecute Joe Biden and Hunter Biden for taking bribes from Ukrainian oligarchs and raking in tens of millions of dollars from foreign countries because the big guy makes policy decisions to help his customers, are the real crimes Biden should be charged with. In fantasy land, perhaps. Sure, but you actually have to have evidence to back it up. Finally, she says, oh, but hey, look at Jack Smith trying to throw President Trump in jail for 100 years. What is it, 104 or 450? They can't seem to get it straight. For illegally possessing documents he's allowed to possess under the Presidential Records Act. He didn't declassify them and admitted that he didn't declassify them. Finally, she added, we are controlled by communists.
Pink-haired communist.
Oh, I mean, what do you really expect from,
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police.
Peachtree dish. Jewish space lasers.
Enough said. Tom Cotton said Biden's son got a sweetheart deal for laundering money, accepting millions in bribes, committing gun crimes, and evading taxes and child support. Yet DOJ targeted a pro-life pastor with a 25-person SWAT team and serious charges. AG Garland is a disgrace. So that statement from Tom Cotton is especially dumb. And that's really difficult to follow up a statement from Marjorie Taylor Greene and somehow appear to be dumber, because Tom Cotton should probably know better. Okay? Marjorie Greene, unhinged, but we're used to it. Tom Cotton, come on. Worse. Because it's the gaslighting, folks. Only one of the things that mentioned were involved in these charges at all. And that was a gun charge. Okay? Again, it's important to note that the person who did these indictments, okay, these charges against Hunter Biden that he pleaded guilty to, was appointed by Donald Trump. He did not bring any other charges. He did not bring the, millions in alleged bribes that they cannot prove. Okay? The laundering money, which, again, they cannot prove. And then the amount seems to be going up. First, it's $5 million in bribes. Now it's $10 million in bribes, which is still a laughably low amount of money for a former vice president or vice president who to then become president and put himself into massive legal jeopardy. Be pretty stupid to do. Which, again, if you're projecting here, which I think that they are, maybe they're just saying that, well, we'd be stupid enough to take that money. Well, congratulations. Pretty dumb. Now, Politico reported that the plea agreement that Hunter Biden agreed to is intended to be a comprehensive resolution of Hunter Biden's potential legal liability in all matters investigated by federal authorities, according to a person familiar with the negotiations. That includes Hunter Biden's business dealings and his post at Burisma. But again, Hunter Biden didn't know anything about natural gas. Why get a highly paid post at Burisma? Of course, it was an attempt to try to influence his father. Now, did that lead to any changes towards the Obama administration's, policies towards Ukraine? No, it actually That same person involved, speaking on a condition of anonymity to discuss private legal discussion, said, quote, "This is the end of it." So, Republicans making all these promises. This is not the end. This is not the end. More is coming. No, this guy says that. No, this is pretty much it. This is all you're gonna get. So, you're gonna see them have fun with this red meat for a little while. As I said, more right-wing meltdown. You kind of get the picture, but one more. And this is radio host Clay Travis, who claimed this. Quote, "Democrats can do whatever they want and receive virtually no punishments. Republicans get draconian punishments." That is just so laughably untrue. That, I mean, I can't even. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like there were no arrests at the BLM rallies or riots, whatever. No, there were all sorts of arrests, by the way. There were people that were rounded up and kettled. There were people that were arrested that didn't actually do anything. There were people that were abducted in the middle, of the demonstrations. They were picked up by police and then dumped elsewhere. I mean, come on. They live in a completely alternative reality. But again, let's go to that statement here. According to NBC News Justice reporter Ryan J. Riley, the gun charge against Hunter Biden is actually very rarely brought by prosecutors, if at all. I mean, there's that. And yet they had originally tried to bring that charge against him, but managed to go through diversion. So the Daily Beast's Roger Sullenberger also pointed out that, again, Roger Stone and his wife were not criminally charged at all when they settled unpaid taxes case with the Justice Department over $2 million. So when it came to the charges that were brought against Hunter Biden, they were actually stiffer than usual. Let's just say that. Okay? Not to get into any
sexual anarchy.
None of those jokes, because, it seems pretty appropriate because right-wingers seem to be wanting to pass around what's essentially revenge porn about Hunter Biden. So we're not going to get into that. It's from his laptop. But look, when it comes to the charges, they went harsher on Biden, actually, than they would normally. So I don't know what he's talking about. Just pulling stuff out of their butt. Now, the right wing, and the reason that all these people are doing this, of course, is because they don't really care about justice. They don't really care about the law. They don't really care about equal application of the law. As you can see, they, are continuing to move the goalposts. No, they complain that he pled guilty because it didn't involve any of these unproven charges of bribery and influence peddling, and money laundering, whatever. And it didn't involve anything to do with his father. And that's it. They can't seem to not want to openly claim that they went political prosecutions. Now, they think that that's what's happening to Donald Trump, but what's going on with Trump is something that he did to himself. So that was self-inflicted right there. But they seem to think that all these prosecutions are political, and I think, again, that's major projection. What they think is happening to Trump is what things that are the things that they want to do to Democrats. You understand? It's all projection, all of this. And by the way, I don't think they were ever going to be happy if Hunter Biden got prison time. Again, not about the law, not even about Hunter Biden. The reason they obsess so much about Hunter Biden is because they want to get Joe Biden. And that's really it. Speaking of President Biden, I do have a statement from the White House. The White House spokesperson Ian Sams said, quote, "The president and first lady love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life. We will have no further comment." And there it is. No rage, no attack on the justice system. Just we support and love our son, regardless of the mistakes that he's made. Now imagine shoe on the other foot, and it was Ivanka. Or more likely Eric Don Jr., right? That would be, pleading guilty right now. Can you imagine the response from Donald Trump? Look, the fact, I think, that the Bidens just put out a statement of we support and love our son, that's got to infuriate the right the most. And the reason I think it infuriates them so much is because it shows that they're accepting of people even when they make mistakes, and big mistakes, their flaws, their mistakes. And generally, that tends to humanize Joe Biden a lot more in my mind, how he treats his son. Okay. Anyway. Pretty basic response that the right wing is going to be apoplectic over. Yeah. No, very, very true. Very true. Biden is smart. The less you say, the better you are. Yeah, that too. And again, just putting it that simple, we support you and we love you, and that's all you really should be saying. And I think that's what a lot of parents would say in their place. Trump would be calling it a witch hunt if it was Ivanka and Jared. True. Okay. It's going to be a ridiculous story, y'all. Last week, RFK Jr. joined Joe Rogan on his podcast, and it got stupid fast.
Wi-Fi radiation does all kinds of bad things, including causing cancer. But cancer's not the worst thing. They also, it opens up, Wi-Fi radiation opens up your blood-brain barrier.
Do you see anything online of how it could open up your blood-brain barrier?
I don't know about how, but that
it does?
I found an article. I was trying to find the validity of it, but it has a statement on here.
Damage to the blood-brain barrier. Radio frequency radiation exposure has been shown to affect the permeability of the blood-brain barrier, as well as altering the expression of microRNA within the brain, which researchers state could lead to adverse effects such as neurodegenerative disease. Whoa. How come we don't know that? The findings were followed by suppression, misinformation, and a shutdown of government-funded research in the United States.
It's the same play.
Oh, we got to get rid of Wi-Fi.
Stupid. We got to get rid of Wi-Fi, everybody. Leaky brain. Oh my God. Okay, so the website, by the way, that they brought up, the fact check was from RFK Jr.'s own website. He cited himself. Oops. Wow. Again, where do I start? Oh, let's start with this. RFK Jr. is a crank. I said it. Why? Because he believes in the same things. And he admits, by the way, these things are outside of his expertise. When Joe Rogan asked, and there was a different part of this video, how does Wi-Fi radiation open up your blood-brain barrier, right? And he says, well, you've gone beyond my expertise. And then went on to cite, quote unquote, tens of thousands of studies showing the horrendous danger of Wi-Fi radiation. If it's outside of your expertise, why are you saying it? Why are you, making these claims and then citing yourself for these claims? Why? Well, it's because there are people on the internet who will believe just about anything. Leaky brain. Talk about leaky brain. Okay, so let's go to the claims about Wi-Fi. Again, thousands of studies, he says, they exist. Nope, not thousands of studies, nope. In fact, there's never been a randomized trial assessing the cause and effect relationship between radio frequency emissions, or RF, and cancers. Not that I know of. And the reason that there hasn't really been one of those is because half of the randomly selected subjects would have to, in order to study this, would have to be away from any sort of Wi-Fi, which tends to mean you'd have to avoid using a cell phone. How likely is that to happen? Again, for a randomized study, you would have to find half of your group not using any form of Wi-Fi or cell phone technology. I mean, are you going to go to a Amish community and do your study there? I suppose you could. Otherwise, I don't see how you could actually study that. But let me explain more about Wi-Fi. Okay, so basically, Wi-Fi radiation is a radio wave. It's basically similar to the spectrum of a cell phone signal or television signal. It's within that range. Okay, now it's actually a higher frequency Wi-Fi, and these signals are classified as non-ionizing radiation sources. So now, non-ionizing radiation is actually okay. Ionizing radiation, not good. That's the stuff that actually does harm you and cause cancer. So now, so far, multiple studies shown that non-ionizing radiation has no harmful effects in the human body. Ionizing radiation, again, that's the stuff that breaks your DNA. Okay? That's the stuff that can cause cancer. Okay? Now, there is another radiation that comes from, Wi-Fi devices, cell phones, all that, and that's thermal. So that's just heat. But they don't generate enough heat to be harmful. Okay? Unless you're standing at the base of a radio tower or in the middle of a microwave beam that's multi-megawatt, then yeah, it's going to get hot. Going to get hot. But your router is going to be fine. Your cell phone is going to be fine. In fact, the data from the National Cancer Institute shows no increase of the incidence of primary brain tumors over the period of time that cell phones have been in use. Now, as for the non-thermal effects, scientific evidence is insufficient and inconsistent with claiming any harm from using Wi-Fi. Present data does not provide clear evidence of any adverse effect in people, humans, be it children or adults. Now, there's one more fun thing, right? So I was looking up, doing the research, and I found that there was a study claiming some adverse effect on using wireless internet on sperm counts, right? And a negative correlation between daily duration of mobile phone use and sperm count. Oh no, they're coming from sperms. Okay. Well, there's issues with that, of course. For one, the study didn't make clear what type of device the men used to access the wireless internet. Exposure to wireless internet was also not controlled for mobile phone use and other issues. And so what it made me think is that maybe there's, a lot of these men are putting laptops on their lap. Now, laptops, they all come with Wi-Fi, okay? Well, what happens when you put your laptop on your lap for hours and hours at a time? Laptop's going to get hot. Of course, it's that thermal energy, right? From the battery. And again, maybe some of it from the Wi-Fi, but mainly, again, these computers are going to get hot. Well, what happens when you put something hot in your lap for hours at a time? It's not going to do well for your sperm, is it? No, no. So this guy, so these people, theoretically, putting laptops in their lap, and then they find out they have low sperm counts. And they're like, oh, it must be the Wi-Fi. No, it's not the Wi-Fi. It's the heat from the computer itself that is making it, again, kind of unlivable for your sperm. You've got to keep it at a certain temperature, It's basically doing that, keeping your laptop on your lap when it's hot and not thinking anything of it, that's going to do a lot more harm to your little guys than any sort of Wi-Fi signal. Okay? And again, the reason I bring that up is kind of an example of how people can avoid the most obvious answers for things happening than in favor of pushing nonsense conspiracy theories. Okay? So, yeah, if you're worried about your sperm count, make sure you're your area, your junk is not getting too overheated. Okay? That's all I'm saying. But here's the thing. People like RFK Jr. today, it's never been a better time to be RFK Jr. Because you have a lot of people that believe in a lot of crazy things. And there's a lot of people that have no more trust in our institutions. There are people that have very little scientific literacy. There's a lot of misinformation that goes viral on social media, online. And so, you know, it's again, when it comes to tracking down and fighting back against disinformation, it's very difficult. Very difficult. So now, here's another thing that RFK Jr. Said that was wrong. He recently spoke with Jordan Peterson. And he was on Jordan Peterson's podcast. I'm here to talk to you with RFK Jr. about how the water is transing your children. No, I'm not kidding. This is one of their arguments. Here's what he said on that video that was removed from YouTube. Quote, I think a lot of the problems we see in kids, and particularly boys, it's probably underappreciated how much of that is coming from chemical exposures, including a lot of sexual dysphoria that we're seeing. They're swimming through a soup of toxic chemicals today, and many of those are endocrine disruptors. There's atrazine throughout our water supply, he said. Atrazine, by the way, if you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will chemically castrate and forcibly feminize every frog in there. And 10% of the frogs, the male frogs, will turn to fully viable females able to produce viable eggs. If it's doing that to frogs, it could. There's a lot of other evidence that it's doing to human beings as well. I'm not kidding. That was RFK Jr. literally going Alex Jones.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Here we go. Here we go. So, look, that's not to say that atrazine is a good thing. And if it's in the water supply, you got to get it out. Now, in fact, what atrazine could do, according to a 2010 University of California, Berkeley study, exposure is highly correlated with low sperm count. Seems to be a theme with all these people. Very, very concerned about sperm counts. Poor semen quality and impaired fertility in humans. But there's nothing in any of the studies that says that it transes you. It doesn't trans human beings. There's no chemical that creates gender dysphoria. There's no science behind that at all. It's just transphobia. That's all it is. Look, here's the thing. RFK Jr. is running as a Democrat. But I think he has figured out, apparently, how to get some people on the right to come over. And that's just be an unhinged conspiracy theorist, because that's all they have on the right wing. But at the same time, let's not forget here that there are some on the left that, and you can go back my videos years and years and years and years ago, where I was fighting anti-vax sentiment on the left. They were the OG anti-vaxxers, people, celebrities like Jenny McCarthy. So it looks like RFK Jr. is maybe trying to get that back. Go back to those days where it wasn't just the right wing that were the insane conspiracy theorists. Bring back a little bit of that to the left. Let's hope that he's not successful. Frogs can change their gender if they're a little too one gender. A lot of animals can change their gender in order to breed. Yeah, don't tell right-wingers that, though. That there are only two sexes, only two genders. Male and female, it never happens. It's aberration. No, it's literally in nature, just like homosexuality is in nature as well. It's a natural thing. God. People talking about demon semen. Oh, there we go. Hold on.
It's the devil, okay?
Also,
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
yep, and there it is. Male seahorses give birth. Fish can change their gender. Yeah, absolutely. OG Jonathan Leiter is an original. All right, so let's go to Don Jr. Just eat more salad dressing. True. Okay. A group of Australians is attempting to ban Donald Trump Jr. from the entire country. Now, this was a petition created by Chris Erickson, and it was meant to, again, prevent former President Donald Trump's eldest son from visiting the country in July. And it's actually collected more than 17,000 signatures. Here's what it says. Donald Trump Jr. is a bigoted person who should not be allowed to enter Australia for the purpose of earning himself and possibly his father any campaign contributions. Ban him from the country. No lies detected there, okay? Now, Trump is reportedly supposed to do a July 9 through 11 tour in cities of Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. In fact, he had recently told an Australian news agency, quote, "It's clear the same disease of woke identity politics and cancel culture that's crippled the U.S. has clearly taken hold there. It is the biggest existential threat we face in the West, and is literally the decay of Western society." Oh, okay, so you see, it's not the climate change. No, it's not environmental breakdown, degradation. It's not the potential for nuclear conflict or war, different countries. No. Apparently, to Don Jr., the biggest existential threat is being asked to use pronouns. Oh, and admitting that racism exists. Bro. Do you not hear yourself? I mean, seriously?
Woke.
Yeah. Woke. Yeah. What an absurd thing to say. What an absurd thing to believe. How comfortable is Don Jr.'s life when you don't have anything to worry about except what pronouns someone uses or someone learns about how bad slavery was? I mean, seriously. How good is your life? How privileged are you? Oh, pronouns!
Oh, no!
They're going to ask me to gender someone properly.
Can't let that happen.
Jeez. Okay. Now, as much as I do not like or agree with Don Jr., I might actually come out on the side of not banning him from another country. I know, right? I mean, if anything, I really hope that Don Jr., instead of flying, instead charters a yacht and takes his time to sail the ocean blue, watch the orcas, have fun, just enjoy themselves with a nice long voyage on a gigantic yacht with orcas. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. And I think that would be a very pleasant trip. Okay? But hey, look, Aussies disagree, and that's fine. They've got reasons, and some of those reasons are quite compelling. In fact, one mentioned Donald Trump Jr. supported an insurrection. Fair and true. Another one says, we got enough nut jobs in Australia. Also true. I have a transgender son. Not only am I sick to death of right-wing ideology, I also quite frankly fear for my child's life. Now that is a really, really, really good reason. And so that might be enough to sway me. Promoters of hate speech should not have any airtime in this country, which explains why Rupert Murdoch no longer lives there. Rupert Murdoch, from Australia, gave us Fox News and all the other spin-offs. I don't want him or his bigoted cronies being a magnet for far-right and neo-Nazis. Also, a good reason. I had a lot of really great reasons not to welcome Donald Trump Jr. pretty much anywhere. The only thing I can say is, well, we don't want him either. We don't want him or the Trump family. Oh, somebody wants to start a fight with Australia. Aussies can't be too smart, he says. They banned their right to protect themselves, and they've had, like, no mass shooting since. Whereas we have a mass shooting every Tuesday. Get the fuck out of here. Dumb.
You idiot.
Okay. Talk about dumb people calling other people dumb for doing things that actually save lives. Amazing. Can't reason with people like that. Let the orcas find him. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. A conservative bill claiming to eliminate bias in education could actually, according to critics, open the door to both sidesing slavery and the Holocaust. Now, according to News 5, Ohio's Senate Bill 83 seeks to ban any type of bias in classrooms and limits discussions around politics and diversity. So apparently you can't talk about politics, can't talk about diversity, and you got to make sure not to have bias. So hey, if your kid's a Holocaust denier, well, that gets equal treatment in this classroom. Let me tell you what. Now, there are other provisions. This is not the first iteration of this bill. It's had to go through several changes. The newest, I should say the first, sorry. The original bill banned mandatory diversity training, prohibited university staff and employees from striking. So they just crushed unions, and I'm probably, that's probably the main reason that they tried to push this through, and then added a bunch of so-called anti-woke stuff to it. It would also require American history courses and mandate 10-year evaluations based on if the educator showed any sort of bias or taught with bias. I don't know how you cannot teach, okay. How do you determine bias when you're teaching factual information? I mean, I don't quite understand the purpose of this other than to make it so that people can make arguments that, oh, maybe slavery wasn't that bad. Oh, no, it was bad. Or are you being biased? You seem like you're really freaking biased against slavery. How dare you? Now, look, if professors violated the restrictions put forth in the bill, they could lose their jobs. The newest version adds language that says nothing prohibits faculty or students from classroom instruction, discussion, or debate, so long as faculty members remain committed to expressing intellectual diversity and allowing intellectual diversity to be expressed. Sure. One student from Kent State University, Wahina Najau, says that that's not really the idea behind this, and that it's actually more dangerous. Quote, the idea that there are two sides in certain historical events like slavery and the Holocaust is insulting. Having a discussion where you're elevating voices that were pro-slavery on the same level as the voices who were against slavery, that's not even whitewashing history. It's just a complete disinformation campaign to try to absolve certain people of the sin of slavery. She also said that it will have a chilling effect. Quote, a lot of professors might decide it's not worth it to go into too much detail about this. We're just going to skate past it real fast and move along with our lesson, instead of focusing really deep on some of these issues that still permeate through our country today. True. Look, now Republicans are claiming that, oh no, you're misrepresenting this bill. In fact, Senator Jerry Serino, who again also advocated earlier for Holocaust deniers to be able to have a debate on whether or not the Holocaust actually happened Yes, that's his position. He said, quote, I think in an academic environment, all sides, good, the bad, and the ugly, need to be talked about and discussed and debated. No, we don't need to debate whether historical things actually happen and if they were bad. There's already too many people who think that it never happened. You're just platforming that. And of course, when it comes to chattel slavery in America, there are also too many people who try to downplay the brutality of that horrific institution that, again, culminated, it basically, the entire purpose was to dehumanize people, to sell them so that they would work for free. That is free exploited labor. And these people were treated as property, whipped, chained, beaten, raped. That's why you do find that there are people who are, black, that are the descendants of slave owners. Why do you think that is? Oh, right. It's because of the rape. Yeah. So there's that. And so there are also people that downplay it and even go so far as to say that, it was good for them in the long run. It civilized them. This is not the kind of debate that needs to be happening in a school. There is no debate here. There is no space in academia for this kind of so-called debate that only benefits certain types of people. Those people being white nationalists, white supremacists. Okay? There is no both sidesing this issue or these issues. There is right and there is wrong. There's facts. It is wrong to enslave people. That's a fact. It is wrong to genocide people. This is the period. This is not hard. This is not difficult. Okay? And so really, at the end of the day, these kinds of bills really do make me wonder about the type of people who introduce them and the reasons why. Why are you trying so hard to put what is effectively white supremacist views in front of children? Why? I'd love to see someone answer that. Honestly. Okay. One last story here for y'all. And it's yeah. It's good. It's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Andrew Tate. Maybe. Now, according to reports, social media influencer Andrew Tate has been charged in Romania with rape, human trafficking, and forming an organized crime ring in order to sexually exploit and traffic women. Co-defendants are his brother and Tristan and two associates. All of them, of course, had pled not guilty, because of course. Now, the indictment in Bucharest court says the four defendants had formed an organized criminal group back in 2021 to commit human trafficking in Romania. Funny enough, I thought the whole reason that he moved to Romania so that they wouldn't get him on rape charges. Oops, that didn't seem to work out. But not only did the indictment say that he planned to do or was doing trafficking in Romania, but also in the U.S. and in the U.K. It names 7 alleged victims who said they were recruited by the Tate brothers through false promises, including, romantic love or even marriage. And of course, they were recruited through social media. The alleged victims were then brought to Romania, where they were taken to a building, intimidated, placed under constant surveillance, controlled, and forced into debt. Massive amounts of debt that they could not escape, according to a statement from Romanian prosecutors. The defendants then allegedly forced the women, in order to pay off said debt, that they had apparently allegedly accrued to take part in pornographic videos that were then disseminated to social media websites, to which, of course, were monetized, and the majority of that money ended up benefiting Andrew Tate. So now, one of the defendants is accused of raping a woman twice in March of 2022, according to the statement. So I believe I know who that is. That's Andrew, who admitted on several occasions to rape. So content warning. Okay. Among dozens of messages and voice notes that Tate had sent to one of his alleged victims is one in which he says, and I believe this is to someone known as Amelia, quote, "Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I effing loved how much you hated it. It turned me on. Why am I like that?" And then, again, that was describing the alleged rape. Now, if that's not clear on what that is, there's another message from Tate saying, quote unquote, "I love raping you." That seems pretty clear. That seems pretty clear. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, another message, when this alleged victim was trying to push back, okay, saying, quote, hold on. Let me find the quote here. Are you seriously so offended that I strangled you a bit? Admitting to that. You didn't effing pass out. Chill the F out. I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you? So, I mean, that seems like not only, again, blaming, victim blaming, whatever, but also part of the emotional manipulation that apparently he has been known to engage in. So there is that emotional manipulation. Tends to go with the territory of extreme narcissists, like what I'm assuming Andrew Tate is, although I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. But I do know it's not cool, and that's rape. Just saying. I don't think that's a controversial opinion. It's also not cool? Being an alleged sex trafficker. Yeah. Now, what's gross is that Andrew Tate was allowed to amass, I shouldn't say allowed, but he was able to amass a gigantic fan base of young men, boys. Now, those boys have been undoubtedly harmed by the lessons that, of course, Tate had personally profited from through his Hustlers Academy. Those lessons involved lying to women, so for the express purpose of taking their virginity, sleeping with them, using them, degrading them, gaslighting them, emotionally manipulating them. That was all of his lessons. Okay? So not only did he, of course, mess up young girls horribly who were the victims of all of this, but also his young fans. These, teen boys. And look, they signed up to see him, and they were interested in him because of his lavish lifestyle, being an alpha male. They wanted the things that he has, which is actually incredibly beta when you think about it. Just saying. But look, they paid for his extravagant lifestyle, and there's the irony there. Andrew Tate got his Bugattis because some other sucker was tricked into giving him money so that they could eventually think that they'll get a Bugatti. It's a pyramid scheme. It's the oldest trick in the book. Funny enough, his attempt to troll a young woman online, one Greta Thunberg, that ended up blowing up in his face. Well done. Greta sends her regards. I want you to know. I want Andrew to know that it was me, she says. No. But look, as I said before, these are indictments, so we don't know if he's going to be found guilty. In fact, this case is going to take a long time. We're going to have to wait for it. The trial will not start immediately and is expected to actually take several years. And so, again, we don't know what's going to happen here. There are also several charges under investigation, which could lead to a separate indictment, including money laundering and trafficking of minors. Oh, so hey, any right-wingers who claim to care so much about trafficking children, trafficking minors, and sex trafficking and rape, overall. Even some that were saying, oh, rapists should get the death penalty. Oh, okay, well, what if Andrew Tate gets found guilty, convicted of all this? What now? I'm pretty sure those same people are going to change their tune and just claim, oh, it was the Matrix that attacked me. I, for one, though, am pretty glad that this person who is a total piece of crap, and he was a piece of crap before he was accused of all of these crimes, he might actually end up facing some justice. We'll see if that happens, but if it does, it's going to be a good day indeed. All right. That's it. That's all I got. So, let me read some super chats here. Member comments as well. That was quite a fun show. All right. Gabby Mathis, thank you for their very kind 3 gifted memberships over on YouTube. Appreciate that. Jonathan Leiter, member comment says, support our socialist orca brethrens and attack big yachts and eat the rich. Happy Pride.
We have to keep our country gay.
Okay. Anyway. Dystopian Dragon points out, very importantly, PFAS, which is the forever chemicals, and microplastics are in the water. In fact, I believe that I read somewhere a study that the average person inhales like a credit card amount of microplastics each year or something like that. It's some insane number. Hey, RFK Jr., you might want to look at the microplastics. You might want to look at pollution from giant corporations, that are polluting our environment. You may want to look into that. And, lay off the frog water conspiracy. I'm just saying.
We're under attack
by the microplastics. And, corporate rule. Okay. People. Yeah, microplastics found everywhere. And honestly, we don't know how the hell to get rid of the microplastics. That is a huge issue. Martin Trammell, with a very kind $5 super chat, says appreciate the hard work. Still the best drops in the biz. Well, thank you. Although I don't know if I'd call them drops. Perhaps
dumps.
We can call them dumps.
Big massive dumps.
But thank you. Okay. I might want to look into lead in the water as well. Oh, yes, absolutely. Because we also seem to have a problem with that in the United States. But hey, billionaires, get another tax cut. Yes. How about Dow Chemical and Teflon? Again, so many different actual legitimate things that you could look at with pollution and corporations that are, able to pollute because they have deregulated industry in such a way where they can get away with these things. Let's see. Ricky Spanish also said, "Have a great day, Jeff and Nation." Well, have a great day as well. Right back at you. So thank you. Joe Biden should ask Bernie Sanders to be his running mate. Biden Sanders 2024. Lovely idea, but I doubt it's going to happen, which is unfortunate. All right. Big massive microplastic dumps. True. And I don't know if I gave Aurora Sarah Beth over on Twitch a shout out for resubbing for 7 months, but thank you for that. Thank you. Ravaging Wolverine says, the old "I thought you were cool" typical manipulators. Also true. All right. Yeah, that's all I got, everybody. Thank you for going around the nation with me today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. With that, I'm going to send you all over on Twitch here to, I'm going to send you over to the watch list, where I see Ravana. So the wonderful, talented Ravana. Everybody, check him out. Check out the channel, and please let him know I sent you. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation.
Sexual anarchy.
No. This direction is about to be.
Jewish space lasers.
Tighten up my knee. I'd like my knee tight.
Amazing.
Wet ass keyword.
Obama. You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.